Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to be bringing you another 311 video, and today's featured palette is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. I was really excited to receive this request because honestly this was one of those palettes that had gotten shoved to the back of my drawer because every time I would open it up I would look at all of these really loud, bright shades and think, oh no, that's not gonna work for me today. And I would end up just using these really neutral, let's say safe, boring shades. And then I'd put the palette away and think, that was nothing special. So this week, as I have been working with this palette, I really challenged myself to dip into these bright shades, and some of which I had never actually even used yet. So I created 3 looks for you today that feature those colors, but they are wearable looks. At least wearable in my frame of thinking. So hopefully if you have this palette and you have had those same thoughts, or you have another palette in your collection with some bright colors like that, hopefully you'll find this helpful. Now I do have one other look on my channel, and I will link that down in the description box below, and it's centered around this beautiful olive green shade. I think I did it last summer and I did love that look. But if you want 3 more looks that you can create with this palette, just keep on watching. So starting off, I've already applied the Smashbox 24-Hour Eyeshadow Primer, and I use this in the next 2 looks as well. And now going into our palette, I'm going to take the E50 from Sigma and go into that matte cream shade, which is Rollin' in Dough. We only have a couple of matte options in this palette, so you're going to see the matte shades appear in all 3 looks. Then I'm going to take the Morphe M504 and the shade So Bougie and put this in the crease. This is a really great crease color, very neutral, has a slight little bit of warmth, but it does take a little bit of layering. So I layer this a couple of times, just taking it all through the crease and then blending up into that brow bone highlight shade. And then I'm going to take the Morphe M433 and go into Cocoa Truffle, and I'm going to now just start to deepen that outer corner and just placing most of the product in the outer corner part and then dragging the brush inward to blend it into the crease about halfway and then slightly onto the lid. And you can see I'm just creating a little bit of a lift there in the outer corner, kind of creating a V shape there. And then taking the M504 and going back with So Bougie and just blending the edges of that Cocoa Truffle shade. And then we're going to go into our lid shade. So I'm starting with the MAC 239 and the shade Love and Cocoa. And this is a really pretty bronze shade. So I'm using this, don't take this all the way to the outer corner because I don't want that shimmer quite to the corner, and I'm also staying below the crease, but I'm taking this about a third of the way across kind of the center portion of the lid, and then I'm taking the E60 from Sigma and Rich Girl and taking this on the inner third of the lid, and you can see this is just a beautiful shade, but there is fallout with this color, so just be aware of that. So I'm pressing that over and then overlapping the edge of Love and Cocoa. And then I'm going to go in with Classy and Sassy, one of my favorite shades, and I'm going to use that just to create a nice gradation of color. So this is kind of more of a rose gold, rose bronze shade look that we're doing today. Very neutral. And then I'm going to go back with the M433 through the crease to blend just the edge of that shimmer shade so there's not quite a harsh line. Now going in with the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil and Demolition, I'm starting halfway across the lid and then blending into the lashes and then bringing up kind of slightly into a wedge shape as we get to the outer corner. And then I'm going to take it in just a real thin line into the inner corner. And now I'm going to blend that a little bit with the EB21 from Sedona Lace and a mixture of Cocoa Truffle and Decadent. So you don't have to be real precise when applying that eyeliner. This is my favorite trick to do because then you can just go over it and soften it. And then you can see I'm dragging up those colors in the outer corner just to darken that outer corner, and then go back with the M433 with no extra product and just make sure all of that is nicely blended. Then I'm going to go in with this L'Oreal Pro Infallible eyeliner. This is a bronze shade, and I just wanted something a little bit shimmery on the lower lash line to match what we have going on the upper lashes. So put that on the lower lash line, and now I'm going to take the Morphe M432 and a little more of that Love and Cocoa shade and just put that over the top of that. And by putting that liner down, it just helps the longevity of the shadow on the lower lashes. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the Cocoa Truffle and Decadent on that same M432 and just put this right in the outer corner to connect those deeper shades on the upper lash line. Then I curled my lashes and I applied this trio of mascara. So it's the Origins Underwear for Lashes, IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, and then on the lower lashes I use the IT Cosmetics Tightline Mascara. And this trio will be what I use in the next two looks as well. And then for the face, I'm also going to use the same palette for all three looks. This is the Too Faced Sugar Peach palette, and I'm going to use the Morphe E4 in a combination of Peach Pop and Sugared Peach. I had never actually done this combination before, and I really loved it. So it gives that really nice little bit of color to the cheeks that I think this look really needs. And then I'm going to use the MAC 140 fan brush and Peach Pearl as my highlighter, and just putting this on the tops of the cheeks, the bridge of the nose, and of course on the Cupid's bow as well. And then going back to our palette, I'm going to use Rich Girl on the E30 from Sigma, and I'm going to place this on the inner corner. But first I'm going to spritz my brush with a little, this is the Gerard Cosmetics setting spray. So any setting spray you have will work. And you can see how that just makes it into like liquid metal. So I just thought this was a fun little pop on the inner corner, but you could do this on your lid as well if you want a really, really metallic look on your lid. Then around the edge of the lips, I'm going to do the trick I always do. This is the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, and today I'm using a brush. I've been enjoying doing this just to kind of get a controlled application, then blend in with the fingers. Then for my lip liner, I'm using the Clinique Intense Blush Lip Liner and their Clinique Pop lipstick in Bear Pop. So starting off with the lip liner, this is a really great nude, kind of a warm nude shade. A little bit of color, but it's not too dark, so it goes really well, and it does last a really long time on the lips. And then adding that Bear Pop lipstick, which has just a hint of a little bit of shimmer and shine. And here's our finished look. So we have that rose gold bronze, shimmery bronze look on the eyes with kind of a neutral pink lip, and I just love this. Now on to look number 2. I again started with the same eyeshadow primer and now going into with the palette, again going in with the same Rollin' in Dough shade under the brow bone with the E50 from Sigma, and putting a pretty decent layer of that down, and then going in with the Morphe M504 and So Bougie. And you're going to see me layer this a couple times, and then I am going to switch my brush because I really want this look to be more about the lid color and not so much with the crease. So I'm going now to the Morphe M433 and more of that same shade, So Bougie. And now I'm really working this in the outer corner just to get a little more definition, and going to try to keep this outer corner a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go now straight to the lash line with the EB21 from Sigma, or from Sedona Lace, sorry, and I'm going in with Decadent. And you notice I did not put down any liner first because I really want this to be soft. And so I'm just kind of creating the shape that I want for my eye look. So I'm pressing that in the lashes and then going up at an angle towards the brows to give the eye a good lift, and just add a hint of some depth here in the outer corner. And then I'm going to go to the Morphe M433 and just blend the very edge of that black there. And you can see I'm really not taking this much through the crease, just keeping it on the outer corner. Now we're going in with our lid shade, and this is the shade Chocolate Gold, and I'm applying this with my finger, and holy moly, look at that bright yellow gold. It reminds me of the color from the Naked Honey palette. So if you don't have that palette and you wanted that gold shade, it's in here. So then I'm going to take my brush, the Sigma E60, and use that to bring that color up just a little bit more towards the crease, but still staying below the crease, but applying a good amount of this all the way from the corner to just before the outer corner. So again, I'm staying out of the outer corner with the shimmer shade, but applying that all over the lids. Yes, we're looking a little scary, like a bumblebee right now, but we're going to take that down. So now I'm going to use Drippin' Diamonds, and this was another color I had hardly ever used because it's a blue silver, but you can see by placing it over the top of that really yellow gold, it creates this really beautiful silvery gold look. So it really takes that yellow gold down to, I think, a much more wearable gold. So again, just patted that over with my fingers first, and then taking my brush and going over the top of it. And you can go back and forth between those two colors to create the exact shade you want. And then I'm going to take the M433 and a little combination of Cocoa Truffle and Decadent, and just blend that in the outer corner just to make sure we still have that depth there, but again, not taking that through the crease. And then I'm going to take the So Bougie on that same brush and use this to further soften the crease and just make sure there is a nice soft line. Now on the lower lash line, I already did it on the one eye. I'm going to take this tiny little brush from Morphe, I'll list it down below, and I'm spritzing my brush with the setting spray and now going in with Money Bags. Now if I had this to do over again, I would first start either with primer or a green eyeliner, because the vibrancy of this shade did not stay all day long just because I didn't put a base down. So that would be my advice to you. Put a little bit of primer, or if you have a green eyeliner, that's even better. Mildew from Urban Decay works great. But I am just now packing on that color along the lower lash line, and then you can see I'm creating just a tiny little wing of green out there along below where we stopped with the eyeshadow on the upper lashes. And don't worry, we're going to add some eyeliner, so it's going to make everything come together. But I just love doing this with a bright shade, putting it on the lower lashes, and it just makes it a little less scary. Then I'm going to go in with Gold Dipped, and I'm going to use this on the inner corner with the E30. And then I start off with the Maneater eyeliner from Tarte. This was a little tiny sample, and I discovered partway in that it was quite dry and basically empty. So I switched to the Hank & Henry Blickety Black eyeliner, and I'm doing the thinnest possible line going right into the lashes. And you want to use liquid liner if you've used a shimmery eyeshadow, because it's just going to glide better. So then I am doing a tiny thin line here, a wing line on the outer corner, and I'm just staying above where we added that green, but just keeping it really super close to the lashes, and then just laying the pin into the roots of my lashes to make sure it's really nice and dark right at the lash line. Then I'll take the tiny little brush here and just make sure that green is still there right below that black wing liner. And then I'm taking the E60 from Sigma with no extra shadow and spritzing it with some setting spray. And now I'm just tapping over those shimmery shades on the lid. This is my tip for you if you're using glitter or shimmery shades. This will help keep that glitter from traveling up your eyelid throughout the day. And then I curled my lashes, and I'm going to apply some mascara. And then going back to our palette, I'm just going to touch up after applying concealer. Sometimes you lose a little bit of that lower lash line color. So I'm just touching up the green down there, making sure again that it's super vibrant. And then I apply my inner corner highlight. This is gold dipped. I'm just going back in with a little more of that, again with the E30 from Sigma, just making sure the inner corner is nice and bright. And then I applied my lower lash line mascara. Going to our face palette, I am going to go in with Peach Honey today on the E4 from Morphe. And this is just a really nice kind of warm coppery brown shade. It does have some glow, no chunky glitter or anything, and then I added a little bit of peach pearl for my highlight on the tops of the cheeks and the bridge of the nose and the Cupid's bow as per usual. And then applied the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot around the edge of my lips. For a lip liner today, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. I do love this shade, and the formula is nice. I think you can dupe it. I think the NYX lip liners do well as well. And then for lipstick, I'm using this gorgeous Origins lipstick. It's called Champagne Orchid, and it does have a hint of smell of rose petals, but it's not overpowering. The formulation of these lipsticks is so nice, and the packaging is gorgeous. And here's our finished look. So we have that gold on the lid with that little pop of green on the lower lash line, and then the lipstick and the cheeks are nice and nude, and I loved how this turned out. For our final look today, again starting off with the same eyeshadow primer from Smashbox, now going into the palette and going in with the same shade. You already know it's Rollin' in Dough, putting this along the brow bone there with the E50 from Sigma, and then going into our crease shade, which is So Bougie, with the M504. You all can probably repeat this along with me at this point, but hey, what are you gonna do? There's only a few matte shades in this palette. But we are going to add a different color in the crease this time, so hang with me. All right, now we're going in with the M433, and I'm going to take this in the outer corner and going to create just quite a bit of depth with this shade here, and just making sure I get that all the way to the corner and then blending through the crease just slightly, like what is left on the brush. That's what you want to bring through the crease. Then along the upper lashes, I'm going to start with the Demolition Eye Pencil from Urban Decay. So this time, even though I'm not being precise, I'm being less precise because I am going to actually smudge this out. So you can see, again, I'm creating kind of a wedge shape. And then I'm going to take the EB21 from Sedona Lace, and I am actually going to smudge this out. And that is because we're not going to be doing a separate liner, and we're going to be covering this with shadow, but I want the extra depth that the liner, the smudged liner, provides. So again, just working that in the outer corner, and then I'm going to go over the top of it with a combination of Cocoa Truffle and Decadent. And I'm just putting that right at the roots of the lashes just to make sure that's nice and dark, and then blending up towards the crease just slightly. So once you have the depth there, I'm going to take the M433 and just make sure it blends up into the crease. And then it's time for our lid shade. So I'm going to start off with this copper shade. It's called Old Money on the E60. And you will see this is a very orangey bronze color. And so this was one I just had not worked with hardly at all. Orangey copper, I would say, kind of like an old penny, if you want to think of it that way. So I put this all over the lid from the inner corner all the way to where those deeper shades start, where we blended in. So again, not going to the outer corner with this and staying below the crease. But you want to make sure you put down a good layer. You could use your finger, but I wanted a little more preciseness. And then I'm going over the top of it with this Live in Lavish, and this is a very blue-based purple, which also is sometimes harder for me to pull off. But look at what happens when you put it over the top of that copper shade. It creates this beautiful pinky rosy burgundy shade. I just love this combination. So again, you can layer those two colors, go back and forth between them until you get the amount of purple and the amount of kind of warmth that you want. And then I'm going to take the M433 and a combination of So Bougie and Cocoa Truffle just very lightly through the crease to blend all of that. And I'm not going to add the final crease color till after mascara, so you got to hang with me for that part of it. But now we're going to go with the Lucky eyeliner from Urban Decay. I'm putting this along the lower lash line because I learned I needed a base down here before I add shadow. So just using this as kind of our coppery base, and then I'm going to use the M432 and Live and Lavish, and I'm just creating that same combination of colors that we have going on the upper lid, and just pressing that into the lashes and going about 2/3 of the way across. Then I'm going to use the EB21 and a little more Cocoa Truffle Decadent, just making sure that outer corner has the depth that I want right there before we get to the shimmer shades, and then use the M433 to do some final blending. After applying the trio of mascara and curling lashes, I'm going to now do what I did on the left eye, and I'm using the M504 and this super bright fuchsia shade called New Money. You want to make sure you tap off the brush. That will tap off all the glitter. And I'm just very, very lightly putting this through the crease, and you can see it just creates a pink haze, and it just ties the look together and makes it look a little more pink purple rather than our first look that we did, which was more rosy bronze. So then I'm taking a little bit of Rich Girl on the inner corner with my pinky and putting that over the copper shade, and then we're going to kind of tone that down just a little bit. We're going to go now over the top of it with the Old Money, and again, these two shades even together combined make a really pretty almost a soft peachy champagne color. So I just loved the combination of those with that Live and Lavish, and just kind of thought that it really created a really nice gradation of colors there. And then just use your finger, kind of go back and forth, create the perfect color, and then I'm adding just a little more Live and Lavish just to make sure we maintain kind of that purpley pink look. And then for our face, going to the face palette and using the F37 from Sigma today, and I'm going in with Peach Pop, and I'm just smiling and putting that nice little bit of pink on the cheeks, and you can see it just adds a little bit of awakeness to the face. So putting that on the cheeks first, and then I'm going to use a little bit of Peach Honey on the back part of the cheeks, kind of going up towards the temple, and just adding a little bit of color and shine there. And then using the MAC 140 brush and Peach Pearl on the tops of the cheeks, the bridge of the nose, and the Cupid's bow. And then I decided, hey, why not? Let's just add a little bit on the inner corner. This is, after all, a face and eye palette. So I'm just adding a tiny little bit there just to help make that inner corner highlight kind of blend in just a little better. Then going around the edge of my lips again with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, and now I'm using the Gerard Cosmetics lip liner in Melrose Place. This is a really pretty medium pink color, and just put this all around the edge. It's a very nice soft pencil, but it does hold up pretty well through the day. So again, I'm wanting to do a more pink leaning look today, and then I'm going in with the MAC lipstick in Plum Dandy. This is such a pretty purpley, frosty pink lipstick. I love it. And again, just kind of helping this look lean more on the pink side. And here is our finished look. So I love these tones. I love how we used kind of those colors from the palette that were unused. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.